Okay, today I'll be working on a 2007 Chevrolet Impala with a 3.9 liter V6. Normally I start from the beginning before taking everything off, but in this video I'm gonna just kind of go through the process of what I did to take this wheel bearing out. So obviously the first step is to either loosen up the lug nuts or studs or whatever you want to call them, and jack it up once you got them broken loose. Um, so once you got the vehicle jacked up, you're going to be greeted by the rotor and brake caliper right there. So what you're going to do is you're going to come down here, and there's these two bolts right here. They're going to be on the back side. Those two bolts are going to be 18 millimeter to take out. Once you take it out, the bolts that is, then you're going to have to, give it a little love tapping with a hammer, beat it off the rotor. Once you beat it off the rotor, just hang it up. I use the spring, you can see it, to hang it up. Make sure there's no tension on the brake line. So once that's out of the way, pray to God the rotor just is loose, hanging there. At least mine was, because it's brand new. So, and just take the rotor off and set it aside. The next thing I did was the axle nut. This giant behemoth of a nut, that goes on the end of this. So I use a 35 millimeter. That is technically the improper size, but it worked for me. I think it's 3/4. I'm not even sure. Just you're gonna have to look up, or somebody might just post in the comments what it actually is. I literally forgot, but it worked for me. What I do recommend is taking a wire wheel or wire brush and clean the ever living bejesus out of these threads. Unless you're not in the rust belt, it might just come loose for you. But I also use some heat. What I mean by that is a torch, just a little propane torch, and just sit there, torch it, heat it up, and then finally it broke loose. I used an impact. I used a lot of PB Blaster, and then I was able to finally back out the nut. But holy smokes, there was kind of a lot of rust on this, so it did not want to come off. But eventually I got it off. So then, of course, you see these three holes here. These are, if I recall correctly, 13, I think it was 13 millimeter bolts. And boy, were these they were in there. Obviously, there was Loctite on it. So what I did is I just used a torch. I had to be very careful because these are, they were pretty swollen and rotted up or rusted up. So I actually ordered new bolts because one of them started to strip, and luckily I put a 1/2 inch socket on there, and I was able to surprisingly break it loose. So just be very incredibly careful with these three bolts, because if you strip them, I do not have an answer for that. So, and I forgot there was one other thing that you got to do too. You got to unplug this. I kind of had tucked back here so you couldn't see it, but just unplug this. It's very easy. So, and then tuck it away. So I had to tuck mine away so that way I didn't torch it with my torch. So, and that'll just connect right into here. So, and then also there was just this little back plating on. When you put the new one on, I think it goes like, oops, something like that. So, and then that wire is also going to be clipped into there, but you should be able to figure that out. Just take some pliers and pop it right out. And then just clean this up. Clean it so it's got a nice surface. Mine's a little rusty, but should be trusty. Yeah. So I guess that's it. I'm not going to put it back together. I'm actually still waiting for those bolts to come in. usually the hardest part taking it off. So if you were able to take it off, you're definitely gonna be able to put it back together. So wish you the best of luck. Just take your time. Use a lot of heat, and good luck.